Hello, my beauties. Today's video is going to be about blush and how to choose the right shade for you. This is a question I get a lot, and so we're going to get into it today. Before we do that, if you can subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up, I will love you forever. All right, friends. So when it comes to blush, there's so much to say. First of all, I'm going to start this with a PSA. If you are wearing a blush color, and it is not like something that I am recommending here in this video, and you like that blush color and you're into it and it is the color for you, wear it. The thing about makeup is it's self-expression, right? There's no right and there's no wrong. And it's all, to me, the point of makeup is to look at yourself in the mirror and feel good about what you're seeing. A lot of people ask me if I can help them choose the perfect blush shade for them. And it's kind of, again, subjective. So I often start with, do you like pinks? Do you like corals? Or do you want it neutral? The reason I do that is, if I told you the only shade that's going to look good for you is this one pink shade, and you are a person who just hates pink, how awful would that be? And guess what? When you put it on, you're never, ever going to like it. Same with if you're a person who's wearing very dark, very bright, statement blush, and I choose something for you that's very neutral, very light, whatever, I'm telling you, you're not gonna like it. So the point is, if you're wanting to switch up your blush, and if you're gonna listen to what I say here today, baby step yourself in. If your blush is here and I am suggesting you go here, don't make the jump because you're going to hate it. But you can find yourself creeping somewhere in the middle. So that is just the PSA for today. As I mentioned, I kind of categorize blushes into three categories. So there is neutrals, there is corals, and there are pinks. So you can see my palette here. This section is my neutral palette. There's also, I should add a fourth category. There's deep and red undertones. These right here still fall into that neutral zone, but these up here are obviously more red and they're brighter, if you can see that. And then back here we have our pinks and our corals. And there are many more Seint, not many more, but there are other Seint lip and cheek colors. They're not all in this case. Into it. Here is the general theory. In any category, say pink, you have your very, very, very fair and pale pinks like this. And then we have shades that are very bright or more intense, we would say, like here, okay? So you handle these things, the things that would be most ideal for your skin tone is where you fall on the spectrum of light to dark. Okay, so somebody who is extremely fair, think like Snow White, like the fairest person you know, could wear these very light and fair shades, all right? Somebody who's dark could wear something like this, and it's not going to look dramatic. On very dark skin, this color is going to look very natural. On very light skin, this color is going to show up and look very pretty. If you have very dark skin and you go to wear a shade like this, you're not going to see it, or it's going to even look white and chalky on you. If you're very fair and you wear a shade like this, that's fine, but it's going to be more of a dramatic look. So that is kind of the theory of where you fall in all the categories. So same is true with the corals. There are very fair, like lighter shade of corals, and there are more intense. So the more intense corals are ideally for darker skin, because we need them to have more pigment and more brightness to show up on darker skin. If you're very light, you don't need as much pigment. That's why in general, when you see a blush on someone you know and you're like, oh my gosh, I love your blush. Blech. Words are hard. You say, oh my gosh, I love your blush. What is it? I want to get it. And then you buy it and you put it on yourself and you're like, it is because your skin tones are very different, likely. Okay. So it's also why for me, I change my blush from this time of year to what I'm wearing in the summer. In the summer, when we have a little bit more color to our skin, which I'm a big sunscreen person, so that should and is always going to be from Self Tanner, I can wear more of a pigmented, brighter blush, and it will still look natural to me. Now that we have lost some of our color and we're not faking our color quite as much, we will go to more softer shades because that's where we fall in the complexion range. My blush that I'm wearing today is Frenchy. It's very neutral, okay? So it looks like you can see it. When I put this on in the summer and I had my self tan on, I had to put it away for the summer because it was like you could not really see it. So that is kind of what I want you, when someone is asking me to choose colors for them, and I figure out, do you like the corals, the pinks, the neutrals, the reds? Once I figure that out for them, then the way that I'm making that choice is based on where they fall, in my opinion, from lightest to darkest. The other great thing that you can do, and I think should be noted, is mix your lip and cheek colors together to create just something that's perfect for you. For instance, in the summer, I love to wear nude a lot, clearly. So I'm going to show you this. Nude, see, it's just divine. So here's nude. Now, in the summertime, I like to give it a little pop. I am all about mixing and matching my lip and cheek shades. So I will take the shade Baby Watermelon, which is very pigmented and bright, okay? And I will just add it right to, see how it gives it just a little bit more of a pop right here? So I will put nude out here, and right here I will add a little bit of Baby Watermelon. This time of year, Baby Watermelon is a bit too much of a pop for me, so I am using Pinky Promise. This looks scary to most of you. It's very Barbie pink, but it's sheer, so it's not as scary. So I can take it even with my shade Frenchy here, and if I want to give this just a little bit of pop, and then I'm gonna take and just blend them right into each other. Do you see how that gives me just a little bit of freshness to the apples of my cheeks is what I'm going for. But if I use something like Baby Watermelon right now, let's go ahead and do it. I'll just layer it right over. It's going to give me a little bit too much for the way that my skin is now, for the way that I like to wear my blush. See how that's stronger and this is a little bit softer? Now come summertime, when I'm putting self tanner on my face again, I'll hop back into Baby Watermelon for that pop. But right now, because I'm more fair, I'm going to keep it a little bit more with Pinky Promise. If you have powders, if you are not a Seint user and you have powder products, I do the same thing, works with powders. Blush should bring life to our face. It is like the place to play with a little bit of color. And so you want to make sure that you're paying attention to where you're falling in the shade range and opening yourself up. If you're, medium to darker skin, open yourself up to trying something with color, because I promise you, it will not look as scary on you as it's looking in the container. I would say a good amount of time people are asking me for neutral blush recommendations. So I'm just going to show you some of my favorite. This is Plum. And that's a heavy application of Plum. You can obviously do it a lot lighter. Nude, which we know that I love. Nude and Plum are similar, but you can see the difference. Plum has a little bit more of that purpley undertone, and it is a little bit deeper than Nude. You have to be careful with Plum. I prefer people to be like on the lighter side of their skin tone to wear plum for you to be able to notice it. Desert Sunset is beautiful. It is a more satiny shade, so it's more sheer. You see that, how it has that glow to it? And it's very, very soft. Sadie is also pretty, but this one you have to be very fair for. See that? Because it's very, very sheer. So if you're extremely fair and you are afraid of blush, Sadie would be a good option for you. I also want to show you Sandstone. I'll put this one down here. More pigmented and more of that brick, orangey undertone, red kind of feeling. So these are a lot of neutrals that people just really tend to love. I always kind of put Frenchie in my neutral zone too. Frenchie's a great neutral. It definitely is a little bit more coral. And then we have Boardwalk, also very, very popular. See that? Boardwalk and Frenchie are very similar. Let me put them closer together so you can see. I would say Boardwalk is borderline slightly more pink than Frenchie. Frenchie is a little bit more coral. So those are obviously some of my most neutral lip and cheek colors. I'm gonna put up a graphic that has all of the lip and cheek shades listed because there's just obviously way too many for us to get into today. But I hope that gives you an understanding of how to find flattering blush shades for yourself, whether you're using Seint or traditional makeup. That is kind of the theory that you follow. So I know that blush is definitely one of those things that is just up to people's opinion and what they like to see themselves in. And that is totally fine. But if you feel like you are just completely lost in the blush world, that's kind of my theories and how I handle choosing blush for someone else. So, you guys, thanks for being here again. Happy Thursday. We are getting so close to Christmas. It's frightening, but I look forward to seeing you. I should have a video next week as well. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, friends, so that is kind of where I stand in my blush theory for choosing blushes for other people. There's no science behind it. It is definitely based on your comfort level and what your eye sees as attractive. We all see things differently. So, but if you need help choosing, have no idea where to start, if you're afraid to start, you can wearing blush. Blush is one of those things people are seriously afraid of. And as I always say, remember, it's makeup. We can take it right off. It is not that big of a deal, but it is something that you should experiment with and try new things, I feel like. I mean, I switch up my blush constantly, but I mean, I'm blessed I got this big old kit here, so I can do that. But if you have any questions, if you would like me to help you choose a blush, or if you would like to be color matched to Seint and have me as your artist, I would love to have you. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next week.